Hello there. Hi everyone. How are you? How is your evening going? I can see you've got Nere over there. She said hi. Where are you guys watching me from? If you're new to this channel, I'm Ava and I'm doing these live sessions. Thank you so much for being here. And if you want, you can give me a comment there so that I know who's watching and who we've got. I can see there was Netta there, and I think I have a couple more people. And I was just wondering if you guys had done Pilates before, because I'm trying to do a little bit of beginner intermediate level, but it's kind of tricky because I don't know who I've got. So just let me know and tell me if you've ever done Pilates, because that'll be very useful to know. Wait, I'm just going to open the door to Dick Bimbo, which is our special guest. He always wants to participate in this. He can't stand not being the center of attention, so he might just join us sometime. He just enters and goes out when he wants. Perfect, and I'm just going to wait just one more minute for Nede. Nede says it's the first time for her. Okay, great. Okay, perfect. So let me give just 2 minutes, because I feel like in that clock it's still not even it's just the time. So let's wait a little bit to see if someone else joins us. But yeah, just give you a brief. For next week, the schedule is going to change a little bit. I'm just going to post it on the channel so that you can check it out and make sure you come to all of the classes, hopefully, and we can keep enjoying this time together. Yeah, good, wonderful. So, and also so after this session, I guess you know, but it's 6:45 UK time, 7:45 Spanish time, we've got another session that's a bit stretching. So this session will be around 45 minutes, more like 40, and then we'll get on to the other session, which is a bit more relaxation, stretching, and all of that. So hopefully you can join both. And actually, let's get started. Hello, Bimbo. He wants to get started too. Okay, so we're going to start standing up, guys. And we're just going to be, if you've got something, so I don't know if it's the first session you're doing, if you've got something sort of fluffy to lie on, it can either be a carpet, or if you've got a mat, that's amazing. If you don't have a mat, that's okay. Just some bit of the floor, some rug that's a little bit more fluffy, so you can lie on it and be a bit more comfortable. That'd be so cool. So let me put the camera just a bit more back. And I'm also going to let this one out, because otherwise it's going to be bothering us all the time. There we go, you're free to go. Cool, so we're going to be on the edge of the mat, guys, and we're just going to cross the right hand on top of the left hand. And I'm going to start to cross the right foot on top of my left. Now, from there, I'm crossing it quite a lot so that I can actually sit. So it's not super close to my other foot. It's a little bit more towards the side. And I'm going to start to imagine I'm scooping my belly, creating like a little curl in my spine so that I can start to sit down. And I'm just going to start in that position. Stay there, and you're going to come up again. Good. So we're going to eventually end up on the floor, but I want you to practice just the beginning of it. So you're letting that curl drop as your tailbone curls back. Great. And you keep going down to the floor as much as you can, and then you go up again. Wonderful. Last one. So you keep that foot there. Let that belly curve happen, and then you're going to try to sit down on the floor. Now, if we fall a little bit, it's totally fine. It's the first time we're doing it, so that's great. And then you're going to put your hands a little bit more back and stretch your legs away. Perfect. And we're going to start with the legs a little bit wider apart, so I've got some room for my spine to articulate forward. Now, my hands are by my side, and from there, I'm going to let my head be super heavy. So imagine that there's a big weight on the top of your head, and you're going to let that head drop until it hollows your chest and sends it back to your spine, and you're going to let all that weight drop you down, breathing into it. You're going to inhale there And as you exhale, you're gonna come all the way up. Now it's really, do you imagine that you're creating space in your waist? So these ribs are floating back and up to the ceiling. So I'm letting my belly have some more space. And this is a spine stretch. So we're gonna keep the hands there. I don't really mind about the hands here, but just keep them by your side so not complicated. And you're letting the top of your head drop super heavy until your chest starts to get more curled and inwards, and it drops in nice and heavy. And you're going to imagine the top of your head is going to crash in the middle of both legs as you press on your hands slightly to lift your ribs up to the ceiling. Wonderful. Stretching your waist in your exhale, and you're going to go up again. Now, last one. Now, I'm just going to add one more factor here. So you're going to slightly press on the heels down. So you're starting to engage those hips there. So just very, very slight. Just a feeling that you're sort of pressing with the legs down a little bit. And again, heavy head, super heavy skull that drops right into my chest. And I'm creating a spiral, really spiraling into myself, trying to send the top of the head in the middle of my legs. And I keep going and going inwards and long. Good. And I go all the way forward. Great. Now my hands are going to be here, and I'm going to pick up my bum nice and light, and I'm going to bring it forward to the top of the mat. Great. Now my feet are nice and parallel on the mat. Hi, this one is always participating. So my hands are in the back of my thighs. And I'm going to really use them, actually. It's not just like they're hanging. No, they're actually very useful for me right now. So I'm going to put them there, and I'm going to lift my elbows so they're nice and light. And I'm going to slightly pull my heels towards my bum, like I've got a little string between my bum and my heels so that my feet are connected to the floor. And from there, nice and strong hands, and I'm going to start to tip my pubic bone towards my nose to crawl back. Good, just as much as I can go without letting everything drop. Now, if I've gone too far, there's no way I'm going to come up without popping my belly out. So I need to go just as far as I can come up comfortably. So I go there, and now I melt my heart, and I keep walking with my hands. And again. So I walk for real. I really use my hands in the back of my thighs. Absorb the seam of your trousers towards your belly button. Good. And again, pubic bone towards your nose. Beautiful. Great. A little bit more. And now keep pressing on the hands to go all the way up. Great. And we're going to do one more, and we're going to stay down there. So we're 1 and a 2 and a 3. And let's stay here for a second and really pulling your elbows apart and allowing your heart to melt. So I'm really creating the feeling of a canoe in my body. It's like a hammock, and the middle of my hammock is super heavy, and I'm breathing in that position, inhaling into my upper back, exhaling, making my belly super heavy, guys. 2 more breaths. Inhale into my upper back. Imagine I've got 4 elephants in my belly, and my belly just wants to spread like there's jam over it. Last one, inhale. Great, and I'm going to go slowly down, 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 all the way down to the floor. Great. I'm going to give myself some more space so I don't kick bimbo. So my palms are going to be down on the floor, and my feet are nice and grounded, just hip width apart. Good. So from there, all I'm going to do, so it's really important the position of the arms. I'm just going to explain these well because it's going to be for the whole session. So we tend to sometimes really squeeze the arms in, and what happens then is that we're just bracing a little bit in the thoracic, and you can look at me for a second, and you'll see how this sort of pops out, and this doesn't really bend. So I'm going to, for now, just let you bend your elbows. And imagine you've got a nice fluffy ball underneath your elbow that you can squeeze down on the floor. So keep those elbows nice and light as you press on the palms like crazy. So my hands need to be super active, and I'm going to inhale. And as I exhale, I'm going to imagine that bit underneath my chest is melting down to the mat as I pick up one knee to my chest. Great. And again, inhale, bring that leg down. And as I exhale, I make the front very heavy to pull the other leg up. Good. Now my feet can be in a little bird on a perch, which is what we call it. It's like you're grabbing a little pencil in the sole of your foot, and you're inhaling down. You relax the foot on the ground when you go down, and you pick up the other one. Great. Now it really needs to happen because you see how this shaking happens in my body. So immediately it happens because my chest starting to clip with my pubic bone. So I'm really creating that little corset there that's nice and heavy. And instead of popping out, it's just getting super spread. And again, inhale, pressing on the palms to pick up the other leg. Well done. And once more, inhale. Now I'm really pressing on the leg that stays down to stabilize my hips as I lift the other one. Keeping this leg up, I'm gonna inhale, and as I exhale, I drop my heart to pick up my left foot off the ground. Great. And from there, I'm actually gonna have the knees together now, and I'm pulling them slightly towards me so that I'm not in 90 degrees. I've got a little bit of a pull of the knees towards me and the feet are a bit higher. And then I'm gonna do a really slight twist towards the right. And then I'm gonna press on my right palm to go back to center. Now I'm imagining you can either do it with the knees bent or with the legs straight if you're comfortable in that position. So either of the options both work. The only difference is I don't want you to be straining from the knee. So if this is quite a forced position, I'd rather you do it with the knees bent. So you're going to go to the left, and then you press on the left palm, imagining you're sucking your thigh bones right into that bit underneath your chest. So we were laughing quite a lot the other day in the Spanish class because I tend to say there is like a fluffy puppy on top of your chest. And a friend of mine was asking like, but what is that fluffy puppy? I don't get it. So I just want you to imagine something nice and soft in here so that this bit can soften. And again, inhale to the right, press on the palm to come back to center, pulling the legs into you. 2 more. Inhale. Good. Left hand presses. 2 more. How many times have I said 2 more? Another thing you'll learn is that Pilates teachers don't know how to count. It is a secret. All our clients know it already. It's a shame. So last one. Good. Perfect. And from there, we're going to keep the knees slightly more open, squeeze the heels like crazy. And we're going to start to imagine the calves reach up to the ceiling, stretching as I drop the thigh bone down into my socket. So I'm going to put my hands in the back of my knees, and I'm going to again float my elbows out. And I'm going to squeeze my heels a lot, like I want to break something in the middle of them. Good. So I'm really squeezing them, and I'm imagining I'm reaching the calves up without pushing my hands out. So my knees won't change position at all. So you can look at me for a second to see the difference. So see what happens if I pull here. You see how it happens from the knee. You can definitely see in the movement. Or if I reach my calves and my knees are light and I'm really stretching that back of my leg. Very good. Last one. Elbows apart. Great. And now we're going to keep the knees a little bit bent and my elbows are still apart. And now I really want you to imagine, guys, just spreading down all over your collarbone and chest so that this gets super, super heavy, right? And from there, I'm going to start to imagine having strong shoulders. So my hands are really holding onto my thighs. And I'm starting to send air in the middle of my blades, as if I wanted to lift the mat up with me. So I'm inhaling, and I go with the whole block. My hands are really holding me. Heavy chest. Good. Inhale into your upper back. Exhale, heavy. Good. Inhale, keep floating a little bit higher. Good. Heavy chest. Yes, last one. Inhale and down. Now I'm going to answer to one of the questions. Probably Amalia's over there. I don't know if she is. But she was asking me, how do I do it without loading the neck? So it all comes a little bit from, I think that's a question most of us can have, right? So it happens from really allowing the chest to be a part of my spine so that my head picks up because this is bending and not because I just want to lift the head. That's when I'm going to load my neck. So I'm using my shoulders nice and strongly so that the whole block starts with the neck dropping down. Very good. And I keep inhaling into my upper back and float a little bit higher. Good. And again, inhale, exhale. Nice. Last one. Inhale into my upper back and down. I'm just going to bend my knees in for a second. Great. And I'm going to lift them up to the ceiling. Now, really important, I'm going to imagine I'm lifting the back of my tights. Imagine you've got tights on, and I'm pulling them up into my bum as I reach the legs a little bit away from me, inhaling. And as I exhale, I'm going to make the chest heavy again to pull the legs back in. Yes, and again, inhale, taking the legs a little bit out. It's not crazy. If I go too far, I'm going to really pull on my back. So I want to go just as far as I can keep those two bums in the back squeezing. Inhale, keep it parallel, and press on the palms to let the belly melt. So if I had a weight here, I would not push it out. So I sometimes do that with my clients. We just put some weights in here. Now, if I am like doing this, the weight is going to do flop down to the mat. So imagine you want to make it as flat as you can. And again, inhale, press on the palms to melt your heart. Good. Elbows light. Very good. Make sure you don't straighten the arms too far because otherwise you might grip. Heavy chest. Wonderful. Last one. Inhale. Now let the thigh bone really drop into the socket. Beautiful. And from there, we're going to go into a bit of an extension, in inversion, sorry. So we're pressing on the palms for real. Let's actually do it with a fist. So I'm going to have two fists and my little finger. So this one is going to really press down, okay? So I'm going to press down with my fists, keeping my elbows light, and I'm going to lift my bum up to the ceiling. Now the space in between my thighs and my belly wants to be big. And I'm pressing again on my little fingers super hard, elbows light, drop the heart down. So I've got like two circles going on here. There's one circle making my sacrum light. There's another circle bending my chest down. And again, so I'm pressing, hands, and really lifting the feet up to the ceiling so that the space in between my belly and my thighs doesn't get squashed. Good. And I squeeze here my heels like crazy. Give me more heels there. Yes. Wonderful. And now imagine my sacrum stays nice and light. So I'm not going to drop it. I'm going to keep it nice and light. And I'm going to press on the fists like crazy. So if you press on the hands, we'll be saved, because the chest is going to bend and it's not going to harm our backs. Okay, so important, the hands. Last one, pressing on the fists. Now make sure as I press, I'm not pressing on the elbows too, because that's can strain me a little bit. I'm just pressing on the fist. Again, wonderful. And from there, squeezing the heels, I'm just going to lift the legs a little bit up. Not too much, keeping the nice long waist. And then I bring the legs a little bit down, but imagine I'm lengthening far. So I'm like lifting my feet up to an imaginary strap. Beautiful. Now pressing on the hands to melt your heart as you keep your sacrum well curled all the way down to the mat. Wonderful. Wow. So if you hadn't done Pilates before, this is your first inversion. Congratulations, because it's not an easy one. Great. And let me close this before I get frozen. My dog is really naughty. Good. So from here, we're just going to start to go to this side. Let's do a little bit of mimic, okay? So one leg is like this, and the other one is an internal rotation. Now, if this position is a little bit comfortable, we can also be just kneeling. If this is okay, we're going to do it like that. And now my left hand is going to create a little bit of a spiral this way. And we've got Dan over here. Hello, Dan. And We've got David who's saying, sorry, I'm late. Very bad. Okay, we're going to have to forgive you. What can we do? So don't worry, David. Great. So you're going to have top hand going that way. Now this hand is going that way. So I'm creating like a little bit of a washing machine, and I am doing that spiral and curling into myself to go to the side, reaching this arm that way, this arm the opposite way around, and back again. So I'm really, really, really letting those shoulders be relaxed and starting to connect those palms with my center as I curl and spiral that washing machine. Let it spiral you in. Good. And back. Great. 2 more. So we go over there. I don't really know who else I've got in there. I know I have David. I know I have Dan. I know I have Annette. I'm still missing a couple. If you want, you can comment in there so that I know who's in there. Great. Last one. And spiral, 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 spiral into yourselves, right into yourselves. Great. So in case you're kneeling, it'd be exactly the same thing. So we'll be still doing this, okay? No difference. The only thing is we're changing the legs. In case you're on the floor, we're going to change the left for the other side. So now my right hand is going this way. My left hand is going to go up. And I'm really curling inside myself again. So it's like the obliques are like really getting heavy towards me. And I'm imagining I'm embracing my lungs with my muscles. Good. And back and again. So let the hands really reach and reach and reach. Wonderful. And back. Good. And again. Reach, 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 reach. Creates that washing machine feeling. Good. Last one. Very good. So important to get that torsion going. Great. Okay. Oh, we've got Gemma there. Oh, hello, Gemma. So excited to see you here. She's got a pub quiz after this. So if she's here, that means she's really on it. Well done. Okay. So we're going to start. We're going to go to kneeling position. We're just going to go in all fours. My hands are nice and grounded on the mat. And I'm spreading my hands apart so that I'm making them very active. So again, we were saying the other day, it's really important to really have the hands nice and planted so that I'm pressing with every single bit of my finger. There's not a bit that's up. So I'm trying to not have any bubbles of air underneath my fingers, okay? And my hands are spreading apart and the space in between my shoulders is nice and wide so that if I put a box that's really fragile on top of my shoulder blades, it wouldn't fall. Great. Now from there, I'm just going to inhale, and as I exhale, I'm going to curl my toes and reach my leg out. And I'm going to inhale, and as I exhale, I'm going to bring it back in. Now, the most important thing of this start, because we're going to make it more complicated, is that I am really in my 4 supports all the time. So when I lose one, I'm still using every single bit, which means if I had a block in between my knees, I would still squeeze it even if one leg goes out. So keep that integrity in the shape so that it's balanced, and go back. And inhale. As I exhale, I slide my right toes far straight on my leg back, and I come back to center. But the weight doesn't change. I'm evenly in both hands. My weight is evenly placed in both hands still. Good. Now I stay with my left leg out, and I'm inhaling, standing on my hands, and as I exhale, keeping my stomach nice and light, I'm going to pick up the other leg. Great. Now I'm going to inhale here. As I exhale, I bring that leg back in. I inhale. And as I exhale, I come back with my left. And again, so you're going to go to that plank. Now, being aware, guys, that the head is not dropping. I'm not dropping my head. So I'm imagining I'm picking the back of my skull up because my hands are holding me. So my spine is part of the whole system. And again, inhaling. And I'm sliding my toes backwards. Good. And I'm inhaling again. And as I exhale, I reach my other leg out. Great. And I'm starting to squeeze the top of my inner thighs together. And I'm inhaling there. And as I exhale, I bring my left leg in. And I inhale and bring my left in. Wonderful, good. Now we're gonna do a bit the trickier things. So you're gonna stay in that position. I'm just gonna explain it to you maybe in this direction. So it is really easy. It's just a sequence that can be a bit trickier. So because I know you can get everything, so I'm gonna be a bit more do something a bit more advanced. So you're gonna start to imagine the base of your spine is starting to curl, and as you can see, my shoulders are not changing at all, and I'm starting to curl and sit a little bit back. So I reach my sit bones back to my heels a bit as I curl my lower back, and now I'm going to go forward, back to my neutral. I'm going to bring my feet together, and I'm going to bring my elbows bent in parallel, which means they are both looking in. And then I'm going to start to imagine I'm reaching my collarbone forward and forward and forward as my pubic bone reaches back. So I'm creating that elastic band so that the back, this is going backwards. So my pubic bone is stretching backwards. And my collarbone and shoulders and nipples are stretching forward. Good. Now, if I've got that opposition going, my belly won't be able to hang and collapse. That's the most important thing. So again, we're in parallel. So the legs, all they do is they're in parallel. And then when we go into the extension like this, they just go heels together and we go a bit back. Okay, so again, let's start with a curl. So we press on the hands without changing anything in the shoulders. And we start to curl the sacrum as we sit back just a tiny bit. Now I'm keeping my shoulders nice and stable. Now I go back to center and my feet go together. I bring my hands slightly more forward actually because it's going to help me. And I pull my elbows in, bend them in parallel. Yes, and I'm going to start to imagine my pubic bone reaches backwards as I press on my shins and my collarbone stretches forward. Great, stay in that stretch even more, nipples forward, more. And I go back to center with parallel feet. Let's do a couple more of those, okay? So pressing on the hands and on the shins to move a little bit backwards. Remember the shoulders stay nice and stable. Give me a bit more lower curl. And now I go back to center, feet together, elbows in, and I'm imagining that band that pulls me back from the pubic bone, forward from the chest, forward from the collarbone. Yes, nice and long and long and long and long. So I cannot collapse because the directions are happening opposite. Good. Last one. And parallel legs. Hands apart, make them nice and wide. And we go back to feet together and pull those nipples forward. Great, nipples to the wind. Even more, yes. Okay, wonderful. And just stretch back so if you can sit back into your child's pose for a second. And relax the head there for me. Good, nice work. Okay. So we're going to start to do the preparation of what's called rolling like a ball. If you've ever done Pilates, that's a really fun exercise. And I'm just going to show you the shape in the end, sort of. So you're going to have in this case, in the end, you'll be like this, and you would roll all the way up. Now, because I know you probably don't have a mat, I'm not sure, but I think most of you might not have a mat. And this is quite tricky if you cannot roll on a mat. And also because I want you to prepare for it, we're going to do an exercise to prepare for it. And eventually, hopefully, if you keep coming, we'll be able to roll like a ball. So we're going to have legs a little bit more up, and then my hands are a little bit more back. Okay. So now I have that feeling that my knees are attached to my shoulders a little bit so that distance is not ever going to change. It's not going to change at all. So I stay there and I'm going to start to send my pubic bone towards my nose to roll backwards a bit like a little dancing machine. And now I'm pressing on the hands, keeping the hip creases open to go up. And again. So it doesn't change. So I'm really sending my pubic bone towards my nose to create space in my groin. And I'm exhaling. Yes, narrowing my waist with my breath to come back. And again, pubic bone towards your nose, even more, even more, even more, even more, even more. And come back. Last one. And pubic bone towards your nose. Right, right, right. Very good. And up. Good. So that is your preparation for your roll like a ball. And eventually you'll be able to do one that is with the legs up here, and you're gonna roll too. So that's the progressions where you get motivated, because that's really fun when you do it. So let's get a chair. Have you guys got a chair? Can you write that for me? See if you can find chair, stool, anything you can sit on. I'm gonna show you what I've got. It's just gonna really help us work on a little bit of the basis of what moving the pelvis and the spine and the stomach means for us. So let me know if you can find a chair somehow. I'm gonna wait just a minute, see if you can guys find one. Okay, David says I have a chair. Wonderful, great. I am assuming Nera has, yeah, probably Nera. Nera has a rolling chair. That's gonna be a bit tricky, but you're gonna try, my dear. So you're gonna try it. And Gemma has a chair. Of course she has. Yes. So Gemma's gonna sit on the edge of the chair. You're all gonna sit on the edge of the chair. And Neda, if you've got a rolling chair, just try to keep it in one direction, if you know what I mean, so you don't start rolling. But I think it should work for you. The only thing is that be careful if you sit quite on the edge, because I know those chairs are not very stable, so don't want you to injure yourself. So we are right on the edge of the chair, and I'm gonna have my right palm on my lower belly, nice and grounded on my lower belly, and my left hand in my lower back. Good. Now, I want you to just give yourself a nice hug there. And I want you to breathe into it and imagine it is super soft, like jelly. You're going to make it super soft. So there tends to be quite a lot of tension in all that area in the stomach. And sometimes, quite often when we do exercise and crunches and things like that, what we do is we actually contract it and constrain it, and it can even create a herniation, you know, if you actually do it a lot. So we don't want that. We don't want that compression. We want the softness. So actually press your hands one against the other a little bit and see if you can release the tension in between them. And from there, the main objective is that you're not pushing your hands away. So my pelvis is connected to my feet. So my pelvis moves because my feet do. So I'm pressing with my feet. I'm just going to show you. So I'm pressing with my feet just so that my pelvis tilts a little bit back. And I'm pulling my heels towards my bum so that I can come back. Now, I'm going to show you what not to do. So if I really exaggerate it, I'm going to still in the front. You see all that. And if I put my hand here, this is going to be very stiff. And I can like also shove in the back, right? So I'm really shoving down, and this is really contracted and pressing. I don't want that. So if I keep both my hands here, I am just letting this be soft towards the back, and I'm going enough, just far enough that that's not contracting. And then I pull my hips towards my bum, and I just go forward enough so that I'm not spilling here. I'm just staying in that nice place where my sandwich still connected. And again, yeah, I'm gonna just show you like that. It's gonna be easier. Good. And again, so we go back, very good. And you keep those both hands soft as you come back to center. And again, so I'm letting this hand be super soft, soft, soft. And you'll realize that what you need from your feet is not a big pressure. It's just a very slight one. It's like little. So I'm just giving it a little bit of pressure, contact with the ground to come back and up. Yes, and this looks very easy, but to do it properly in a way that I'm actually opening the hip crease is not that easy. So last one. Yes, imagine, guys, the back of the knees are pulling to the window. In this case, for me, forward for you. And last one. Good. Now we're going to add just a little bit of complication, but very easy. You're going to be able to do it without problem. So my hands are on my lap, a little bit closer to my hips. And I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm just adding my arms. So I'm sliding the fingertips towards the front so that I'm actually stretching the thighs physically forward as I send my pubic bone back. So you're creating space in your groins if you think about it. Great. And now you're going to pull your elbows towards your waist, nice and narrow, squeezing in. And as I press my palms, I'm going to send my heart up to the ceiling. Great. And again. Good. So I'm pressing with my hands. Imagine I'm sending the ribs. If you look at my hands, I'm sending the ribs back and up to the ceiling, creating this wide space in my groin. Great. And then I'm pulling my elbows in nice and narrow, pressing on my hands, sending nipples up to the sky. And even more, up to the sky. Good. And again. Hands press, and I'm sending the pubic bone back, really stretching, relaxing the belly so I'm not gripping. No grippy belly. Elbows on your waist, pressing on the hands, lifting heart up to the ceiling. Last one. Hands there, and I start to go again, pubic bone towards my nose. Give it some space, and up. Wonderful. Up. Great. And that was really, really nice. Now I'm going to stay in that chair. Sorry, because this one is doing all sorts of stuff here. So I'm just going to stay in the front so that you can see me a bit better. Good. So we're going to stay on the chair. And I am just going to have legs a little bit open. And from there, I'm going to grab my hands and I'm going to interlace them like this. Good. And now I'm going to pull my hands on the top of my head. And I'm going to imagine if I've got some shoulder parts in here, they're going to get heavy towards my hips. So if I had these guys, you can see these weights here. You can imagine you've got one of those, right? So this shoulder is going to drop towards this hip. Yeah, so if I put my arm up, it doesn't go up. It just drops down. And my elbows are pulling apart. Both my hands are up. Cool. And from that feeling, so nice and wide collarbone and starting to keep opening, start to connect with the feet. So now that you already know where your feet are, you feel them, keep them there, and you're going to start to do circles there. Great. And you're going to breathe into it. Now the temptation will be for your palms to just relax down and face towards the camera in this case. But I want the palms to keep looking up to the ceiling so you can really, for real, open that fascia as much as you can. And you're going to open it up to the ceiling and keep doing circles over there. Imagining that nice heavy weight and imagining the chest is dropping down. Yeah. So that my blades are not pulling out of my sockets, but they're actually, you're sucking your arms into your heart. Yes, good. Which seems a weird image, but your body probably understands it more than your head. So just think about that image. And then reverse the circle. Great. So pull your arms into you a little bit more and pull your head into your spine. So let the head be aligned with your spine. Last one. Okay, wonderful. Relax those shoulders for a second. And let's move the neck a little bit. And the other way around. Good. Now, I want you guys to find a wall for me. I'm sorry, I'm asking for so much today. I want a wall. Can you guys find a wall? Let me know if you can find a wall. We all have walls. I'm sure you can find a wall. Maybe the trickiest thing is to put the computer so you can still see me, but hopefully we'll be able to find the wall. And you know what? I'm actually going to use that wall because if I use this one, you're not going to see me. Yes, good. There you go. That's it. That's what I want. Great. Gemma's got a wall. Nair's got a wall. Everyone's got a wall. Great. So I've got my wall here. Cool. And I'm going to be with my feet on top of the wall. Okay. So my feet are on top of the wall. I hope you can still hear me. We're going to tweak this a bit because otherwise I don't know how much you're going to hear me. So the toes are at the height of my eyes. Okay, I can still put my hands here for a second. And I'm not too close that I'm going to fully fall back. I'm not too far that I'm totally sitting there. So find that middle, sweet medium there, okay? And there, I'm going to start to press with my feet so that I really feel them there, because I'm going to put my hands in the back of my thighs and I need to be able to hold myself up there. Okay, great. So from there, without losing your feet, and the most important thing are your feet, you're going to start to send your pubic bone towards your nose and go just as far as I can keep pressing on my feet. Now, if I've lost them, I don't go farther than that. I stay until I can stay with them, and then I'm going to start to make my heart heavy and my belly super heavy, put those 4 elephants in them to go up. Now, this is your preparation for your teaser that I'm going to show you the full version in a second so you can motivate it, but you will be able to do soon. So, elbows out and pressing on the hands for real. Use the hands. Now, I can't lose my feet. If you lose your feet, don't go that far. Good. And there's one there who said, oh, found one. Good, David. Yes, there you go. David also has a wall. I would be worried if you couldn't find a wall, guys. Okay, pubic bone towards your nose. Great. Good. Just as far as you can without losing it. And up. Last one. And pubic bone towards your nose. Nice, nice, nice. So I really open this groin in here. Good. And I'm going to come up. So nice. Wow, this is a proper advanced exercise. So I'm being a bit mean here, but I'm sure it's going to help you a lot. So, and the full version of this is a typical teaser you do where you lift your legs up here. But if we do it like that, we'll probably be just gripping in here. So this is much better to prepare you for that. I will get on to the full version soon. So we've just got a couple of minutes. What do I want to finish with before the stretching session? Let's do the last exercise that we're going to do. We've done quite a lot of abdominals. I don't want to kill you with that. Yeah, let's just stretch a little bit of the glute, but actively. So we're just going to have this leg forward. Yeah, that's right. So this leg goes forward. And the other leg is down on the floor. Now, I am imagining I'm pulling my right heel towards my left knee so that I create a little bit of connection in there. Now, my hands can either go on my chair if I've got it here. I've got coffee now. Or they can just go on my hips. And I'm just going to move a little bit forward with it and a little bit back. If you need something for your knee because your knee's a bit uncomfortable, give it that fluffy thing you're on top of it. So put it underneath your knee, that'll help you, or a cushion, whatever. And same thing. So I am really not just going with my right hip. As you can see, I'm going with both. So I'm picking up this left bump. I'm going with it. Good. With the whole package. So I pack my hips together like a pack of crisps and I bring it forward. Great. Last one. Okay. Very good. And we stay there for a second. Put your hands there. Move your foot towards the right a little bit. And let's just do a little bit of a circle here. Just drawing a circle in that hip crease. Opening it up a little bit with your hands. Great. And the other leg. Whoop. Good. All the toys around. Good. And again. So let's go with this foot forward. And I'm, again, pulling my left foot towards my right knee. Okay. So I'm doing that. And as I go there, I'm going to start to go forward. Wonderful. And back again. Good. And forward. Really taking my right hip with me. I'm not leaving it backwards. I'm just keeping it with me. Bring the whole package forward. Great. Last one. Nice, guys. So good. Nice. I'm so pleased. I think you worked really hard today. I'm just giving you more and more and harder exercises, which is great because I'm sure you'll be super strong soon. So hope to see you next week. I will let you know what the schedule is, but I will actually write it down on the description in the channel so you can all check it out. And now we've got a stretching session in nothing. I'm just going to change the mission and I'm going to go straight into that. And it's just until 10 past, so like 25 minutes. I know Gemma needs to go because she has got a pub quiz. So I understand, Gemma. But the rest, you can stay with me and do some stretching because we didn't do much. So we can just deepen in that stretching a little bit. See you in a bit. Thanks for being here. And yeah, let's stay here and move a little bit more. Mwah.